Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1993 Jeep Wrangler Renegade. Up front is a 4.0 liter inline 6, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Jeep Wrangler Renegade for two reasons. First of all, it's a stick shift Jeep. We have this nice bikini top up above us, so I'm always excited to get the true Jeep experience, potholes and all. But the second reason is the fact that the Renegade was a very interesting trim level, only offered for a few years, and they didn't sell a whole lot of them. So this is a very special, very unique Jeep, and it's a very well kept one at that. So I'm excited to share all of that with you here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to Chicago Cars US for letting me borrow their Jeep Renegade for today's video. More on them towards the end, but if you'd like to browse their inventory, you can do so down in the description below. But let's get back to that 4-liter straight 6 under the hood. Well, that is a carryover from the AMC days. Although this was built under Chrysler's ownership, that 4-liter really has its roots back in the 60s and 70s, and it is incredibly reliable. They also put this in the XJ Cherokee, and that was the engine that you wanted. It makes good power, it's very fun to drive, and like I said, it is one of the most reliable engines to come out of AMC and the Chrysler Corporation. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. Feels amazing. Really clicky into gear, absolutely lovely, which is sad because modern Wrangler manuals feel so terrible. There was a time where these felt so great, and this really does feel very sporty. We'll talk about that in a second, but last but not least, of course, it is a Wrangler, so it is 4-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the Wrangler Renegade? Well, for the YJ generation, they actually lowered the center of gravity a little bit and gave it square headlights because they were having rollover issues with earlier Jeeps. It wasn't really that they rolled over more often, it was just that people were buying them that weren't used to high center of gravity vehicles, and so they would roll them because they weren't used to turning a high center of gravity car. So to kind of combat that, they lowered the center of gravity for the next generation and gave it rectangle headlights to give the idea of stability. A rectangle won't tip over as easily as a circle, so that was their line of thinking. What they actually ended up designing is the most fun Jeep to drive. This is hands down the best handling, best driving, most fun experienced Jeep I've ever driven in terms of just clickiness with the shifter. It's agile, it's buzzy and fun. The 6-cylinder is a workhorse. It is an absolutely lovely, lovely driving experience. These are so fun, and I've driven other YJ non-Renegades, and I feel the same way. They are an absolute blast and a half to drive, and I love them, love them, love them. Now, the Renegade didn't get any special performance enhancements, but that's good because all YJs in this era handle and drive the same. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 gauges. Off to the left is my tachometer, and off to the right is the speedometer. Nothing found on the steering wheel of the Jeep, not even an airbag yet. Because this was technically a light truck, it didn't need it till a couple years later. And down to the bottom left, we do have headlight switches, as well as our gauge dimmer switch. On the door, we do have manual locks, manual windows, and a pull tab to close it. However, something to note is that these are really old school doors and they have no detents. So they will swing open, swing close, so be careful parking next to someone. If the wind takes it, it's gonna bash it into the car next to you. Moving into the center, this is where you'll find 4 more gauges for fuel, coolant temperature, oil pressure, and battery voltage. And down in the center, we have our climate controls off to the left, radio off to the right, and some added vents. We do have some pull tabs down here for the AC. What was traditional in this era is that dealers would add AC after the fact. And down on the floor, we do have our 4-wheel drive selector as well as our manual shifter. However, unfortunately, we don't get any cup holders here in the Renegade, so it fails the big friggin' bottle test. The seats are comfortable. They are more comfortable than a more traditional Jeep. Jeep tried to make this a little bit more luxury based for the Renegade trim level, and so you get these slightly nicer seats. Doesn't completely change the world, but they are decently comfy. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, coming in here. there's actually an extra hinge that allows the seat to move even more forward. Then you gotta climb in back. And there you go. It's not the most, there's an airplane ruining my audio. It's not the most spacious, luxurious thing, but especially with this top, this is such a cool open air experience. It's not like I have big windows next to me. You don't have anything. And so you can stretch out. I remember in high school, we had a friend that had a YJ, and we would shoot squirt guns at each other in traffic, or, you know, spray people on the sidewalk, or say hello. You could have a full conversation with someone in a car next to you or on the street or anything like that. This is such a cool open top experience, and this is shared throughout all Jeeps, and even modern Jeeps have a version of this. But just like with this roll bar, like that's it. Like, this is so slim, and I love that. I absolutely love that. It's just, it's so great. And the seat's comfy. I fit back here. It's a win. It's a big, big win. Let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Renegade, the Jeep Renegade, we do have a little handle here. And as you can tell, when the convertible top is down, you don't get much space. But even when the convertible top is up, you don't get much space. So that is the rear cargo compartment of the 93 Jeep Renegade, in case you were ever curious. There you go. Now we got to talk about the looks, and this is where the Renegade really comes into its own, because it was mostly just a body kit that you would get for your Jeep. So as you can see, it has the molded fenders, it has the side steps, and has a very 90s smoothed look. Makes it look a lot less harsh and a lot more on-road friendly than the traditional Wrangler. So what Chrysler would do is that they would actually build pretty high spec'd out Jeep Wranglers, and then they would send them to a company called Auto Style, which then put on the unique fenders, side steps, things like that, made it look more appealing. And this also had Renegade specific wheels, which you see on here. These are the original wheels. So it basically added a cool on-road, almost like mini truck style flair to the Jeep Wrangler. However, of course, this came at a price, $4,000 extra, which at the time was nearly a third of the entire price of a Wrangler. So Jeep didn't sell a whole lot of them, and they were offered in white, black, or red, and later blue towards the end of its run. They lasted from 91 to 94. I think it looks absolutely sweet. I think this is one of the best looking Jeeps. It's one of the best driving Jeeps, and so it is one of the best Jeeps. However, with that, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this awesome Jeep Renegade from 1993? Well, of course I love it. This has been a great experience. I love driving it, and I love driving older Jeeps. These things just, they handle well. They honestly drive better than modern counterparts in my opinion, or at least they're more fun to drive than modern counterparts. I love the bare bones and yet the excited flair of the exterior. These are pretty rare and hard to find in any condition, let alone such good condition like this is. Most of the time the fenders are falling off, or they've been cut off and turned into mud bogging trucks. So it was really cool to see a proper version of the Renegade, a nearly forgotten piece of Jeep's history. However, there is a downside, and it was that price. For some reason, every few years, Jeep thinks that there's someone out there that wants to pay more money for a Jeep Wrangler. Every couple years, the last 30 years, they do special editions, they do luxury versions, and they try to get some more money out of the consumers. However, that's not what Jeep people really want. Jeep people like the bare bones of it all. They like the off-roadness. So building an on-road, more luxury-oriented, more expensive Jeep Wrangler is not catering to the people who actually buy your cars. And so they didn't sell a lot of these, and these drifted into obscurity. There's a couple of super fans that collect them or have maintained them, but by and large, people that are into Jeeps didn't really care all that much. So here it is, a 1993 Jeep Wrangler Renegade in all of its glory, overpriced and all. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Chicago Cars US for letting me borrow their Jeep Wrangler Renegade for today's video. They are absolutely wonderful. Please go check out their inventory down in the description below. They have cool stuff. They have Jeeps all the time, new Jeeps, old Jeeps, and they are really, really special. So please go check out their inventory. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you really liked it. And I'm gonna get out of here because we are under a thunderstorm warning and I have a see-through top. So that's exciting for me. Take care, everyone.